As the sun sets on an important day for the ANC as it begins to wind down its 55th National Conference, let's take you straight to conference coverage central, and Bongiwe Zwane is in Nasrec. Bongiwe, good afternoon. It's a moment to exhale for the elected officials, but in a sense the beginning of a new and demanding journey in getting the voters to trust them and to provide stability inside and outside the party.
Definitely, Iman, and speaking to Angelo Fick this afternoon, he says that it's going to be one of those moments where the party needs to think long and hard about this leadership. Is this a leadership that can take it to 2024? And will the people of South Africa have faith in this current leadership of the ANC? So he says a lot of questions, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of thought needs to go into what happens now in 2024. Iman?
And we look forward to that analysis, Bongiwe. Tonight it's a very different picture. This is the moment that the country, and I suppose those who support the ANC and its members are interested in terms of what the complexities around this new leadership are going to bring. You know, all of that contestation doesn't suddenly go away overnight. Samkele Maseko, you're standing by. I know you've got someone with you, but what happens to all this unrequited energy, in a sense? What have you been hearing as you've been working the angles on the ground, watching the movements and conversations happening on the flanks of the conference?
Well, Iman, what is certainly clear is that those whom were saying that Limpopo would come as a united bloc to conference, while it seemingly came not to be true, as the province, some of their regional leaders started commanding the delegation of Limpopo after the provincial leadership, Florence Radzelani, the deputy chair, and the deputy provincial secretary, Bhaskop Makamu, and Stanley Chupu Matabata, the chairperson, decided to take the N3 route and not the N1 route heading towards Limpopo, to their man from Vembe, who is hailing from Shawelo in Soweto, Cyril Ramaphosa. But I'm going to bring in Mr. Reuben Madadzhe, the provincial secretary. Mr. Madadzhe, your province, seemingly some wanted to take the N3 route and not the N1 route. What transpired in your province with Florence Radzelani communicating that you are now heading towards the N3 in the form of Dr. Zweli Mkhize and not now the incumbent who's been re-elected?
No, thank you very much, Samkelo. Maybe before we start, maybe I should be lectured. What is the N3 and N1 route, so that I must not make mistakes for your viewers. I need to be very accurate when I deal with your viewers. What is N1 and N3? What is that?
Florence Radzelani says N3 is support towards those who accommodate them in the form of Dr. Zweli Mkhize. N1 representing Cyril Ramaphosa, who hails from Vembe.
Oh, okay. Our position as the Provincial Executive Committee in Limpopo was that we must support President Ramaphosa, and we must support Comrade Stanley Chupu Matabata as the national chair. That is our position and our mandate. Of course, trading with other provinces, we had to have some trade-offs. We then agree on some names, and we went back to the PEC. We presented those names, and the PEC accepted them. But now, conference has elected the leadership. It's water under the bridge. There is a new top 7. As Limpopo PEC, we want to congratulate President Ramaphosa and the leadership collective of Top 7 as elected by this conference. We want to wish them well. We are a bit disappointed going back home. We couldn't come back with our provincial chair, Comrade Stanley Chupu Matabata, as the national chair.
When you look at the composition of the top 7 now, you've got Marupino Ramokokpa, who hails from Limpopo in Leboahum, who's also a PEC member of the province in Limpopo. Are you not happy that at least you got one person elected in the top 7 of the party, and you were unlucky on Stanley Chupu Matabata as the national chair?
Obviously, we are very happy. I was responding to a specific question. We are very happy about the election of Comrade Maruping. She's one of our own. She's a PEC member. She's the coordinator of the ANC Women's League nationally. So we want to take this opportunity as well and congratulate her. We will support her in her new responsibilities.
Mr. Madadzhe, What transpired in the souring of relations between the president and Stanley Chupuma Tabata? Because when he was speaking to the Zweli Mkhize caucus, he said they are fighting for the soul of the ANC in this conference. What transpired for him to think that the soul of the ANC was eroded under the leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa?
No, Samkelo, you would understand that the provincial chair of the ANC is the premier, has got also a spokesperson. I can't speak on his behalf. I can only request him to come here. If you want to ask him question, he will be able to respond. Because if I start to respond to that question, I will be speculating, I will be misleading the viewers and members of public. I don't want to do that.
Going forward, what will be the main priorities for Limpopo, knowing what transpired here at this conference? Some have perceived what transpired as divisions in conference plenary. Some were heckling Florence Radzelani, calling her a sellout. How are you going to make sure that you unite your province going forward?
No, our province under the stewardship of the provincial chair will remain united, because the provincial chair of the ANC in Limpopo is not a factionalist. It's a man of principles. We think when we go back home, he will then be able to unite all of us. But you must understand that when you are in conference, when you have got different views and different opinions, it doesn't mean that you are divided. It just simply means that on this particular matter, on this preference, we don't see things the same way. So it does not necessarily mean that the province is highly divided. Remember, people are allowed to lobby and be lobbied. So there is nothing wrong when people are lobbied and decide to change their initial positions and follow other comrades who have managed to convince them.
Was he not somersaulting and saying that he now supports Zweli Mkhize instead of the incumbent?
It is not called somersaulting. It is called, it's a persuasion. These comrades were persuaded by other comrades. They went there to try and persuade these other comrades, and they were persuaded, and they've got the right to be persuaded, and they've got the right to have their views and their opinion. So there is nothing illegal about it. What they did, there is nothing illegal about it. Leave this thing, some kind of the PGCs that you hear from the Twitter. We are not going to run the organization in Limpopo through Twitter and Facebook. We are the elected leadership. We are elected. We are mandated by a conference. We've got a constitution to follow.
Will you not be seen as a sellout back home by not moving with the views of the majority of the officials in the three that were swayed towards Dr. Zweli Mkhize?
I don't know how you are deciding on the issue of the views of the majority of the officials. I am saying, as an individual leader, when I am a delegate, I can try to convince and lobby Samkelo. And Samkelo is allowed as well to lobby me. So if Samkelo persuade me, I agree with his views, with his perspective. There is nothing wrong about that. It is provided for by the rules. So there is no minority and majority. And people on Facebook must be calm. Things are very good in Limpopo. We are not even fighting. We understand the outcomes of conference. So we came here with a perspective. We won some, we have lost some. So it's not a train smash. We are not going home with an empty hand, with an empty bucket. At least we are going home with a bit of a small smile. We will be smiling. If we had made the provincial chair a national chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reuben Madadzhe, who is the provincial secretary of the ANC in Limpopo, saying that they are disappointed that Chupuma Tabata was not elected as the national chairperson of the ANC, but they're happy that Maruping Ramohupa, who is now the second deputy general secretary of the ANC, former or current PEC member of the ANC, coordinator of the ANC Women's League, is elected as the second deputy secretary general of the ANC, saying they're pretty much happy with the outcomes of conference. But Limpopo as a province is seemingly divided and have cracked with those opting to go with Dr. Zweli Mkhize and Reuben Madadzhe, breaking ranks with them, going with the re-elected president of the ANC, Bongiwe.